talking about, this gentleman most certainly does. I want to dive into the NFC games this year. You played against a few of these teams here. Let's talk about the Bears and the Rams here, and we'll start with the cold. I think fans, has always been my theory, fans are fascinated by cold games. This is going to be super cold. The Rams obviously are coming from Los Angeles.
Right.
How much of a factor do you think the weather on a Sunday night is going to be in the game in Chicago?
Now, initially, I was like, man, Matt Stafford played in the NFC, in that cold division up there for 12 years, 13 years. But that's not Kyron Williams. That's not Puka Nacua.
Right.
That's Devontae can play anywhere. He played in Green Bay.
Played Green Bay. Yep.
I'm looking at team's entirety here. Maybe it does affect them. It is cold, and when it's cold, it gets miserable. That is not real football, no matter what some of the world may think. Cold football is not the best football.
You'll get there when you're sitting on the couch after your days are over. You'll be like, this is football weather right here, knowing that you're warm.
Knowing that you're warm, drinking a cold one, and they're freezing on the inside. It's miserable football is what that is.
Let me show you C10 here, just to give you a sense of just what we're talking about. Kickoff temperature, 18 degrees, feels like 4. Winds will be 15 miles an hour, gusting to 25. The Rams have not played a playoff game with a temperature under 20 degrees since the 1976 conference championship game, and Matthew Stafford has never played in the game where the kickoff, where the temperature was below 20 degrees at kickoff. So, Dan Orlovsky, how much of a factor in this game? You know Stafford better than anybody. That Rams team, they want to score 50 points in this game against a Bears defense that is susceptible to that. How much of a factor is the weather?
No, it's a significant factor. It's significant for everybody and how they handle it, mainly the Los Angeles Rams. Stafford's going to have a comfort level in doing it. Now, he is not 32 like he was doing it years ago. He's 37, 38 years old in that cold. But to Cam's point, like how the running backs carry the football, how the hits, I always thought for the hits, like not only giving them, but taking hits in those elements are the real thing. So I don't truly believe that it's going to have a negative impact on Stafford's ability to throw the ball, but hanging in the pocket, willing to stand there and take some of those shots, giving the ball to playmakers on the perimeter. I think whatever team handles the cold, I think it gets so cold sometimes you can't even think, let alone try to go execute at an incredibly high level. So who can handle it the best is certainly going to be in an advantageous situation.
He also played against the Bears this year. A lot of us have marveled at Caleb Williams. Give us the scouting report. He's had some moments where you scratch your head, and then he's had some moments where you say, I'm not sure I've ever seen anyone do what he just did, and they tend to come late in critical games and critical spots. Give us the scouting report.
He heats up as the game gets going. He finds his flow in the game. He extends these plays with his legs. He always becomes a better passer on the scramble with the game on the line. That dot that he had this last playoff game on the sideline,
hitting the Jordan symbol.
Man, I say that if there's clutch, there it is. I mean, he's shown that he's on the cusp of the next. I'm just gonna say the next because I hate labeling a young quarterback like, oh, he's the next great. Don't do that yet. But he's on the cusp. One. Exactly. On the next one, sure.
Right? I mean, Caleb, I feel like we are seeing a superstar being born right before our eyes. I've heard a lot of nitpicking of him over the course of the season, and I've sort of fought back on it. And I grant you, I mean, he's had some first halves where you find yourself saying, what are we doing here?
Last week.
And then that one and the first Green Bay game and a few other spots this year.
And all of the games.
Every game.
In every game. You're like, every game you walk into and you're like, Caleb Williams, when he sits back in the pocket, steps up, he's got a clean pocket, and he throws the ball and just sails out of nowhere. And then we have an example like this Packers game where it's 4th and 8, and he's literally hitting the Jordan symbol while he's dotting the ball perfectly. The best thing, in my opinion, that's happened to Caleb Williams this year is his connection with Colston Loveland. We saw it in that Packers game.
Michigan guy.
When he got into a situation where it was like, I'm a little off on my stationary throws, I'm just going to start feeding Loveland over and over again. And he was making catch after catch. He had over 100 yards receiving. So having that outlet with the various ups and downs has helped him a lot, and it's going to help him this week.
Dan, the Rams defense, which I think we generally think of as very good, has been a little bit vulnerable in the last portion of the season. They haven't looked great.
They've been terrible.
Okay, they've been terrible.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Just being honest, they've been terrible. Last week, there was dudes wide open. You watch defenders completely turned inside out, around, run into the wrong spot. So that's a huge concern of mine is like, I know that the Rams want to score 50 against the Bears. I think the Bears want to try and score 50 against the Rams. They were bad last week, not only in their pass defense, but how many times are we going to let Bryce Young get outside the pocket? So I think a huge thing for Saturday night is like, do the Rams defensively have some clue of where they're supposed to be versus Ben Johnson's kind of designs and whatnot. If they don't, I think the Bears are capable of scoring 30 or 40 if Caleb's hot.
All right, let's go to the other game here because you played against those two teams as well. So you know San Francisco, you know Seattle, you know these.
Yeah, well, at this point, who didn't the Saints play early on the season? Like, we had a young quarterback. Could we, like, maybe build some confidence? No, we hit, like, out of our 7 first games, there was, what, 5 of them are in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Golly.
And then you got hot towards the end of the year. So
Yeah,
it'll work out well. Next year
Towards the
will
end of
be
the
your
year,
season.
when we built some confidence. Yeah.
This year is for these guys. A lot of people look at the Seahawks and they say, can Sam Darnold do it? I mean, their defense obviously is elite and outstanding, and they wonder if Sam Darnold needs to win the game for them. Is he ready to do that? Give us what it's like to be on the field against him. What's the scouting report on Sam Darnold?
I mean, the last couple of years, Sam Darnold has changed the narrative about him.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be the cherry on top. This is okay, he can be that guy. Because to this point, you say Sam Darnold, heck of a player in the regular season. You know, the last 18 games.
Yep.
Now, can he do that in playoffs? But he has to prove it to me.
Will Compton, are you confident that if this game comes down to Sam Darnold being the reason the Seahawks win it, that he is ready for that?
Yeah, I think Sam Darnold gets his first playoff win this weekend. Like the Niners, as much against all odds, all year long, they've always been counted out of it. They took Brock Purdy from us for 10 weeks, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, the football gods took George Kittle from us this last week. It feels like it's just a matter of time before somebody gets an eyes and to go into Seattle and do it against Seattle, that defense, the team that Darnold
Talk
has
about that
around him,
defensive line.
the team that Darnold has around him, I don't think Darnold's going to be in a spot where he has to force it at the end of the game. So I love Seattle in this game.
Yeah, I think with the emergence of the Seattle Seahawks' run game, it takes a lot of pressure off of Sam Darnold. And you look at the pass rush for the 49ers, they don't get home unless they're bringing multiple guys over and over again. Sam's going to have the ability to sit in the pocket, have enough time to give it to JSN, some other outlets. I think this is a game that, as long as they don't come out completely rusty after a bye week, this is a game they win, and Kyle Shanahan, this beautiful story.
There's 2 quarterbacks left in the playoffs that basically have to not lose the game. C.J. Stroud, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold wins this game if we don't talk about Sam Darnold. Go score 17 points and they'll win. Cam talked about this Seattle defense is Seattle and Houston's defenses. They're ridiculous, and they all started their defensive lines. And so I think as long as Sam Darnold doesn't have a catastrophic evening where he tries to do too much, they'll be completely fine. That should be the story of if they win the NFC Championship game for him, and if Houston wins the AFC Championship game for C.J. Stroud and the Texans.
Just ride their defense.
You don't lose the game. If those quarterbacks don't lose games with sacks, sack fumbles, turnovers, just head-scratching plays where you give teams points or you take points off the boards, their defenses are ridiculous. Those defenses are not going to give up more than 20 in these playoffs.
The Seahawks, the 49ers, there's just absolutely, it would make no sense for them to win this game.
Correct.
But I felt the same exact way about last week. With everything in the world they had against them, and then losing Kittle, as you pointed out, during the game.
Yeah.
Weird things that make no sense just happen in the NFL all the time. And when I saw all those Seahawks logos go up on the screen, it makes you think it again. These things happen crazy. Cam Jordan, it's a pleasure to have you here, man. Great to see you. Have a great offseason.
You done moved away from me.
I know
you moved away from
guys
me.
will make up.
Right.
He will be on First Take. Delighted to have Cam Jordan in here. Let's flash back to December 28th, just to rub more in the wound of Taylor Lewan. This is Cam Ward for the Titans back to throw, and this is Cam Jordan taking care of business. We got a strip sack.
No, it's not a strip sack. For some odd reason, it was just a forced fumble. He goes to throw the ball, right throwing motion, ball down. So that's a strip sack.
You didn't strip nothing.
The hate is real. It's all right.
If you had an offensive lineman background, would you scoop the fumble up?
Yeah, you got to get on that ball immediately. That's dive on it and pray to God no one saw it.
Yeah, but put that as forced fumble because he was able to pick up the ball and throw it twice in the same play. Come on.
Do we got tape of you two playing?
No, listen, that's past, brother.
I can't help you, can't listen.
Hey,
But you can't hear.
if there is, I say I'm on the right side, which now I'm uncomfortable. But put me back on the left side, whoever his accomplice was over there, getting worked.
Jack Conklin, he handled this.
Let's dive into the football that's going on here. We'll give you Cam's accolades as though you need them. Drafted into the league in 2011, 8 Pro Bowls in 15 years, 132 sacks, second only to Von Miller since he came into the league. And in 15 years, he's missed only 2 games, playing 243 out of a possible 245. So when it comes to knowing what he's talking